Good evening, everyone. Can you let me know if my audio is working? Just type yes or no into the chat room. Okay, we are going to be getting started really soon. Okay, great. Thanks, Camille. Well, welcome. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, my name is Sandra Gonzalez, and I'm the instructor for the online course. Today, this is really a question and answer session, but what I'm going to do during the first half while we're on YouTube is go over some of the homework concepts that you've learned and help you relate it back to your venture, show you how to use some of these tools to help you find the industry research and the market analysis that you need, okay? After we spend about 45 minutes on YouTube, I'm going to end this broadcast, and then we're going to move over to Zoom. So just click on the link that I sent you on the email. And then that session is not recorded. It's private. We actually have a lot more participation because it is private, but you'll still be able to see me and your classmates, and I will be able to share my screen, and we'll be able to work out your business concept. Okay. All right, so if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat room. I'm going to be monitoring them as I go through the slides. And then I can share the Google Hangout link if we have enough time, and you can actually join me in the actual Hangout, and we can have a live Q&A. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen really quick, and I'm going to talk about the slides, which I sent to you earlier. Okay, that should be in your email. So let me go ahead and go to that PDF. All right, let's talk about the NAICS code. All right. Oh, wait, before we do that, let's talk about the resources. So these you already have access to, and we've kind of talked about this, but all of this is hyperlinked. The IVMF resource library, you should already you should already have access to, both in Moodle, not Moodle, Blackboard, basically because of one of the homework assignments. It has the marketing analysis video in it. There's even more resources here for you, to include the IVMF VetNet entrepreneur track. I'm going to click on this really quick just so you can see it. Let me see if okay, it's probably not going to go through. Let me just see if I can get rid of that. Okay, it's not going to go through. Let me see if that just worked. Okay. Hold on one second here. And just close that out. Anyway, you can get to these at your leisure. The Kaufman School, I hope that's familiar to you all. They have a lot of good resources on here, videos for startups, as well as existing businesses that are trying to scale. I think by now, most of you should have already watched the business research overview video. I think there was a question that came up about getting access to that library and all those resources. Deanna is the one who can answer that question. And I think when I went through EBV, we got access to those resources during the actual residency. But you can still access a lot of these resources through your local library or through the small business development centers that are close to you. Okay. All right, and then there's one more video here. I'll see if I can pull it up later, but it talks about niche marketing. I kind of mentioned this on some of your homework assignments as part of your feedback, but you don't want to market to everyone. You only want to market to your niche, and that's because you can be a big player in a small pond versus being a little fish in a big pond. All right, you want to have a well-defined market, just because it's how you as a small business can compete. All right. Okay, so we can keep talking about that later. For those of you who are starting new businesses, there's something called the North American Industry Classification Codes. This is how the government basically classifies all of the businesses in the United States. So this is something that you do need to have as part of your business for a lot of reasons, but one, for your business registration, because you need to be able to type in your NAICS code, and also to be able to obtain certain industry reports. Okay, to be able to find your NAICS, and I know that some of you are still trying to figure this out. If you just type it into your search engine and then type in the keywords, it'll bring up different NAICS codes, and then you can figure it out. based on that. And I can help you with that too. All right. So please feel free to either email me or just put it into the Ask the Expert forum, because it's helpful for your classmates to be able to see and to help you brainstorm it as well. Okay. This could keep changing as your business concept changes. And for those of you who are trying to scale and find new markets, you might actually be starting to compete in new industries. So this research is going to help you a lot. Okay. Very good. Let's keep going. For your NAICS codes, you will have one primary, and then you can have as many alternates as you want. This is stuff that can go into your business plan as well as your website, especially if you are in that procurement space, because everybody wants to know what your capabilities are. And it's something that you would list on a capability statement. Okay, your capability statement, you can download samples online. Let me see if I can bring this up really quick so I can write on this. Just download a sample. Okay. Just download a sample from online. This is moving really slow because I'm sharing my screen, so I might not be able to type on this and so that you can see my comments. But this will list all of your core competencies. The key thing here is to list your past performance. So even if you've not done anything, even if your business is new, but if you have already done work within that industry, I would still list it here, even if it's volunteer work, because what they're really looking for is just a reference, okay? So even if your specific company doesn't have a history of work yet, you can still list things that you've done in the past and put that person, that contact person and their number, so that you have a reference who can vouch for you. So anyway, there are plenty of the samples of capability statements online. I would look at established businesses within your industry and look at theirs. This is a marketing tool. You do want it to look nice. You want to use the keywords such as you. It's whatever you offer to your potential clients, so that it should be written in a way that appeals to them so that they understand what you have to offer, okay? So anyway, this is part of where your NAICS codes will go into. So some of the uses, again, for your business registration, for your capability statement, and then it's also a way to obtain industry reports from your counselors. Many of you, all of you are competing in overlapping industries. So you will want to get as many different types of industry reports so that you can piece together your competitive strategy. So here is an example of an industry report. So one of you is doing enterprise software analytics. It's Brandon, and this is one of the reports that he would use. Someone like Craig, who is doing the physician coaching, he would be in the coaching industry as well as the retreat or event planning industry. So you'd want to get as many different industry reports as you can. Okay. What else? Oh, all right. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that as part of your industry research and your market analysis, you can actually type in the NAICS codes in fbo.gov, and that'll help to pull up some of your competitors as well. Okay. I think a lot of you have the potential to be in that procurement space, getting some business from either the government or from, at a municipal, at your city and state level. Okay. There's all sorts of different procurement opportunities out there. It's a matter of networking and letting people know what you are doing. But there's municipal, state, and then federal contracts out there. So for your state, you would look on your local state website for those contracts. It's usually under the Secretary of State, or if you type in how to do business with your state, it'll bring you to that portal and you can get registered. But you will need these NAICS codes. Okay, research tools. If you are a brick and mortar, this one will help you a lot. Sizeup.com, and then everyone has access to census.gov. Some of you are developing software, and so this may or may not help you. What will be more helpful are just articles in general about up and coming trends. Okay, let me just go over this. It's better if I just break this down for everybody. So let's talk about Size Up. In order to use this, this tool, it is free, but you still have to sign in and you will create an account on a separate website. It's right here, this little hyperlink, it'll take you there. And then you can just type in your login information. Okay, wait a minute. And then you'll be able to use the tool. So, okay, I can see who all's here. I'm going to use an established business, and I'm going to use a brick and mortar business. So Tad is here. It's Fire Alarm Securities, right? Fire alarm, fire. It's his is a service. Let me see if I can actually find it on here. And Tad, I don't know if you've had time to look through this, and I'm not sure if this is what will meet your need or answer the question that you had. But I just want to use your venture as an example. So let me see. I know the city because I've typed it in here just trying to search. So anyway, type in your city, type in your industry. Sometimes it's not an exact match. Okay, I'm just going to type in dealer and installation service. So once you click continue, it gives you a couple different options. All right. He's an existing business. So if he clicks on the first one, hopefully you can see the little tiny screen. It's this one will allow you to see how you compare how you compare with all of the competitors in your region. So he would just update this for the different regions that he wants to compete, and then it'll actually give you all this information here. This is probably the easiest to use. There's more out there, but they're probably not going to be free. All right. So for those of you who are existing businesses, this is a little harder for consultants since you can travel around to different places. This will give you a lot of good information about just your competitors and what people are spending in your area. Okay. If you have a new business, let's go to competition. If you have a new business and you just want to see who the competitors are, then if you just click on that button up here, this is pretty intuitive. It's not hard to use. Then it'll show you where all of your competitors are. This would actually be really good for our ice cream man. He's a Jim. Okay, Jim is starting a Brewster's franchise, and he would do the same thing for his area. It'll break it down even further, so that it'll show you what customers are spending based on the category. And for Tad's, I wasn't able to find it here. I'm just going to click on household operations. It's not really on here, but just so you get a good idea for this. Here, I'm going to put gardening and lawn care, even though it's not his venture, it's not his industry, but it breaks it down by dollar amount. So if you were to provide services to a certain area, you know what they're spending. So maybe you want a higher end clientele, you'll target customers up there. Okay, so I hope that this makes sense. This works well for established businesses, brick and mortar, anything dealing with a local regional area. And it only works for the United States. If you're like in Puerto Rico, Guam, it's not going to work for your area. For those of you who are trying to think, selling stuff online, that might be a little bit more difficult to use Size Up, but you could still use it to find information about your local competitors. Okay, so this is a really good tool, so I want to encourage you to use that. For everybody else, let me show you this really quick. Let me go back to my slides. Okay, I don't want to go out of order because I'll forget everything. I'll use somebody else's example later for trying to find information about national statistics. Let's just go ahead and go to census.gov. I'm not going to spend too much time on that because I think that was already covered in the research video with Jennifer. So if we go to census.gov, let's say you're selling t-shirts to millennials, then you can use their data for that. Okay, that's a little bit easier to find on census.gov, or you can just use articles online that give you that kind of information. All right. Can you get a free account at SizeUp, or do you have to go through Westfield to set up account? I don't know how they partnered with Westfield, but you do have to create that free account at Westfield. I've never gotten any spam, so it has been pretty safe. Okay. All right. So they've changed this around, and now I can't find anything I need, but you can find just look around, and you should be able to find the statistics that you need based on your local region or just the whole nation in general. Okay, so like statistics of U.S. businesses, this would be good for those of you consultants. So even Hartnell, Tad, Brandon, and oh my goodness, the lawn care app. My goodness, why am I drawing a blank? Amore, and I got to pull up my spreadsheet. This would be good for you all to be looking at. Okay, even our Camille and Jennifer, as you grow your software program, this is a good way to find those businesses that you eventually want to target. Okay, all right. Let me bring back my other screen so I can see all of you. All right, there we go. So anyway, play around with census.gov. There's a lot of good information on here, and some of these data sets you can import into Excel. All right, and it can give you some real-time information. Some of this is outdated because it is a census, but sometimes you can find some really good information. I know that is really quick, but it's easier for me to take somebody's concept and find the information, and then that way it'll be more valuable to you. So we talked about SizeUp. Some of you who are in the nonprofit space and are needing grants, if you just type in Google Scholar, it'll bring you to this new database. Okay, I never even knew about this until somebody told me. Once you're here, you can find peer-reviewed articles that will help you to write a justification for a grant. So I'm going to put in veterans with PTSD and what is it, holistic healthcare, or sometimes it's called CAM. All right, it's not on here. Let me put in yoga. There. Okay. And there's actually quite a few of you. So Ricky and Nikisha. I'm also thinking about Matt, and who was the other recreational one? With the one with disabilities. Hold on one second. It was Daniel, I think. All right. This is what you would use to write up grants for those programs. Oops. I hope you all can still see my screen. I just want to make sure I can see all of you. So when you get here and you type that in, you'll be able to find some good articles that you can use to get actual data to write up your grant. Yeah, was it Daniel? Yeah, I think it was Daniel, Matt. Okay, so anyway, you all could kind of collaborate together and even refer business to one another, since you're regional. And that way, if you find a veteran who needs this, or you find opportunities for funding, but they only want to fund programs in certain regions, then you refer business back to one another. Okay, so, and you could probably all write the same program together using these articles, and then you can try and get funding for your separate areas. So that's one way that you can all work together as a team and still be able to meet your mission in your separate locations. All right, so that's Google Scholar. Jaleel had some questions for me about her market research. She's starting a holistic healthcare network. This could go in several different directions, but I mean, when I read her concept, my first impression was a database, because if you're going to have a network of providers, regardless of whether or not it's holistic, you need a way to organize that, and there's different ways that you can compete based on this. So if you're going to do something like this, and this really could be national because it could end up being a software app, just go online, type it in, and then each of the different search engines they all have their different algorithms and they all have different results. So for a holistic healthcare network, there are 82 million results. So a lot of people are looking for this. You could actually use this number as part of your justification in your industry research. That Google and then the other search engines, I'm going to click on Yahoo. Let me open it up in a new tab. Did it go through? It's over here. They put their numbers down here. Theirs is only 389,000, but just the fact that there's a lot of results on Google tells you that there is a high demand for this. Okay, so you would use this kind of research as part of your, actual research for your industry research. You could take data from here. Most of them are, if they are all similar in results, if they're telling you this, if you're hearing the same numbers over and over again, then it's probably reliable. You can put that into your business plan. All right, let me go back to my slides just so I can stay on track. All right. Okay, here's the link for the business research overview video. Okay, especially after EBV ends, you still have these slides. And then here's the federal procurement database. Okay, let me go back to that. I'd already brought that up. Oh, it's not here. It's, okay, it's usaspending.gov. So for those of you who are in the procurement space, it's really hard to predict what contracts are going to be out there. If you have a really good relationship with the people who actually write up these contracts, or the contracting officer, or whoever it is, the buyer, or for the different agencies in your city or your state, those are probably going to be your best resources. But just so you can get an overview of what the spending is for the different areas, here, I'm just going to click on the front page. Just click on the different buttons and it'll give you a big overview. All right, it's called their spending explorer, and then you can choose based on either the agency or whatever it is that you're looking for. Trying to think of somebody's example. Tad, do you know which agency you are looking for that actually writes up these contracts for fire and for security systems? Because that's one way to look for it. Let me see. Let's look under object class. Here we go. Contractual services. It will actually give you this information. I mean, you have to keep clicking on everything, but you can get it broken down all the way by your state. DHS, Department of, what is that? Let me see if I can find it. Homeland Security, is that what it is? CB, oh, wow. Were you able to find it on here? CPB. Yeah, this would take me some time to help Tad to find what he needs, but that information is in here. If you can get it to that micro of a level, okay, good. I'm glad you were able to find it. Then you can start to import that data into Excel and then create a dashboard for yourself. But this is where you can see where they're spending the money. There's actually a lot of money available in grants here. So those of you who are starting your nonprofits, even if it's not a nonprofit, Matt, is your training academy going to be a nonprofit? Because even if it's not, some of these are available to small businesses. You just need to check. And what a lot of people will do is they'll take their for-profit business and create a nonprofit arm, a charitable arm, and there's ways to partner the two so that you can apply for some of this stuff. So anyway, that's a great question for your business counselor. And even when you get to EBV, because there's all sorts of ways to form different legal structures to meet your needs so that you're eligible for all of these different opportunities. Okay, but I just wanted to make sure that you are aware that usaspending.gov is out here. This is free to use and you should be able to get a lot of information from here. Okay, and then the download center, that's what I was looking at, and that's where you can find some of the awards that were given in the past, and then you could kind of predict or project based off of that. Okay, let me read this comment. Okay, all right, good. So Matt and Daniel and Nakisha and yeah, Nakisha and her husband. Okay, so this you should be looking at for, you know, for resources. Okay, good. Let me go back to my slides. But before I forget, Jaleel, if you're on here, I need to send you this link. But if you write down Natural Healthcare Network, here's an example of one of your competitors. I want you to look at the Start Provider Membership. So one of their revenue streams is a subscription-based service, $4.99 a month. So you could charge your providers $4.99 a month to be able to be part of your network, to be able to advertise on your website / database, and even provide a free membership for a basic level. Okay, so I think once you finish your industry research, you need to figure out how you're going to make money off of it. So I will here, I'll go back to this later. But do you see here, and I'm going back to her example because she wanted help with this. I started this before we started the webinar, but you can find all the industry, the market trends online very easily without using census.gov or any of those other tools, because there's plenty of research out there from reputable journals like Fast Company, Entrepreneur, Inc. Okay, these you can use to help answer the homework assignments, and then just copy and paste them either into a feasibility analysis or your business plan. All right. Okay, so good. Jaleel, I'm glad you're here. Let me just go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to put it right here in the chat room, and then you can paste it into your homework assignment. Did it go through? All right. Yeah. So use this kind of information. The global wellness industry, it's a $1 trillion market. I can see as part of your market segmentation, you will have wellness travelers as well. So just include them into when you start writing out your different customers, the different segments, put them in there as well, and just keep an eye out for that kind of information. I'm going to keep closing out these tabs here. I'm going to put more of these in here. So if you want this kind of help, just let me know, because this is why it takes me a long time to go through the homework assignments, is because I have to look this stuff up for you, and I want to make sure it's reputable. Okay, so if you haven't heard back from me on assignment 2, that one requires a lot of research. This is what I'm doing for you. All right, especially if you have a new concept. Okay, good. Let me go back to my slides, and please type in any questions that you have here in the chat room, because I use this as a learning tool for your classmates who won't be able to join us when we start on Zoom, because that's not going to be recorded. All right, so we've talked about USA spending, sizeup.com. I know I'm going through this really quickly, but you have access to these slides, so this will just be a review so you know how to use these different tools. Okay. They keep moving things around on the census.gov website. So this is an older slide, and I still can't figure out where they've put things. So just play around with it, okay? All right. And then this is what you really want, especially if you're a brick and mortar business. Camille and Jennifer, this is the kind of stuff that you want, which I already saw in Jennifer's homework assignments. Very detailed, excellent job. You are almost ready to get funding. That's how good your data is. Okay, so keep it up. But this is where you find it on census.gov. Matt, I would like to see more of this kind of information in your plan. And anybody else, the 2 starting, actually there's more than 2. There's a lot of you starting these veteran resource centers. This is what you need to be able to put in. Veterans make up about anywhere between 1 to 7% of the population. So if you find out how many people are in your state or in that area, just multiply it by 1 to 7%, and you kind of have a general estimate, and that's really all you need. And then you can design your programs based on that number and come up with a dollar amount for that. Okay, Reference USA. Let me pull that up. Not all libraries have this database. Maybe if you went to a university library, most towns have a community college. These are the types of organizations that would purchase a subscription to Reference USA, but it's got a lot of business data. This is what you're looking for, okay? This pitch book, some of you who are developing software, this one you have to pay for, but if you can find stuff on here for free, okay, well, all they do is they pull from everybody else's databases and then they aggregate it for you. But if you can find stuff here and on Crunchbase, this will also give you some information, you know, revenue, employees, that kind of stuff about privately owned businesses. It's really hard to find all of the information that you need. It's just a matter of learning how to use your search engine. So this is Firefox. So if I click here, then I have access to different search engines. These aren't all that great. It's just Yahoo and Bing, but I made Google my primary search engine, okay? So that's how you use all that. All right. Okay, and this I want to mention, the easiest way to get started, especially to be able to finish out the homework assignments for the rest of the class, just find sample business plans. They're everywhere online. These are my usual resources, SBDC.net. They break it down by actual categories. So let me pull that up. I do need to close out some tabs. Hopefully nobody needed these. And if you do, just let me know and I can pull these up again. All right, SBDC.net. Yes, Jen, you and Camille make a great team. Oh no, they've changed it. I don't know what happened to it. SBDC business plans. Let me see if this will bring it up. Okay, it's sbcnet.org. If you all can, I'm going to put this into the chat room. If you can update that on your slides, this is where I get a lot of free business plans, and then it breaks it down for you from each of the different industries. This is the easiest way to create your plan or feasibility analysis just by having a sample, okay? They've moved everything on here too. I used to know where everything was at. Just play around with this website and you should be able to find a business plan on every topic out there, okay? And then you'll be able to see if you're on the right track or find new resources based on what you see over here. What time is it? Oh, I'm running out of time. I need to hurry up. Okay. SBDCnet.org. I'm going to have to fix this. B plans and M plans all come from Palo Alto software. This is an actual business plan software. So Palo Alto software. I'm just going to bring it up so you can see it. And they have free business plans on here as well. All you would do is just copy and paste it into a Microsoft Word document, and then you can fix it based on whatever your needs are. Okay, the key thing is differentiation. How are you going to be better, faster, or cheaper than your competition? But if you go here, okay, now they make you put in your email. You know what? I don't get a lot of spam from these people, so I don't mind putting in my my information. And then you should be able to get enough different templates that you need. Okay, this should help you out a lot. So B plans, and then M plans for your marketing plans. Okay, this you might need if you need an example. Okay, it's all the same company. It's all from Live Plan. Okay, let me finish going through this really quick so I can answer questions. SCORE has a lot of templates. Let me go ahead and show you their financial template. This is the easiest one to use. Okay, there's more out there. There's all sorts of templates to help you with your financials. They're a little bit more complicated. I know this is one of the homework assignments. It's okay if you don't finish it all. At least it forces you to start thinking about it. So now you're looking at everything, you're looking at your competitors as well as your future venture with a whole different set of eyes. Okay. It's just a whole entrepreneurship itself is a whole different way of looking at things, and it's a way of problem solving. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know that this is available to you. It looks like, oh, it's not on here. Somewhere on there, I did put the link for this for SCORE, and this is their entire gallery. So you can download your, oh my goodness, all not the financials, profit and loss, balance sheet, all of that is right here. These are the easiest to use. And then you can also go to the different government agency websites, and some of them will have business plan templates as well, especially if you're going to be applying for one of their grants. It's good to look and see what they are expecting from you. This is the first class where we haven't had anyone who is doing organic farming, but this is the link for that. Okay, and then if you're trying to create financials for investors, this is the easiest program to use. It's Startup Financials. Let me just pull it up really quick. And all you do is just plug in your numbers. Okay, so now you don't need to pay somebody to create some sort of a financial model based on Excel, because those can be really hard to keep updated. So this is what this looks like, and this was started by a veteran. Okay, I have about 8 minutes. Let me just double check, make sure that I've covered most everything on here. Oh, okay. I'm going to go through this really quick. If you're looking for funding, here are some different pitch competitions. Usually when IVMF has competitions, they'll have you register on what's called Startup Compete. Okay, this is through the Kauffman Foundation, but this connects you with all sorts of investors or just mentors in general. So take a look at some of these if this is what you're looking for, if you do need investors. The other thing I want to point out, some of you who are developing software or have lengthy R&D cycles, you are available to get funding through what's called, let me see if this works, the Small Business Innovation Research grants, competitions. But that's what that stands for, SBIR. There are workshops that travel all throughout the United States. You can meet with the program managers from the different agencies, and they'll explain all this. Let me go ahead and just show you grants.gov, because if you are going to apply for a grant, especially a federal grant, this is where you go. And this is where you can actually go and learn more about this process. All right. So here's the actual website. Okay. When you get here, just go to Learn Grants, and it will walk you through everything. I know that you were drinking from a fire hose right now. There's a lot of information, but this is all available to you, and now you know where to find it. Okay. Hopefully they won't keep changing all the links and everything else. Okay. Oh, the other thing I want to mention about grants is that the different Fortune 500 companies, as well as the different peer groups like Disabled American Veterans, Bob Woodruff Foundation, they all have grant competitions as well. So if you just type in these words, foundations like the Walmart Foundation, it'll take you to the those competitions, or just the information itself. Like Walmart awards grants all year long. You just need to know where to go. Okay, and that should be it. All right, let me share the Google Hangouts link. Let me stop the